think we're here. Let's look at the ad. All right, there we are. Hello, everybody. Logan's here. Caroline's here. If you are here and you can hear us, please say something in the chat. That would be great. It still says waiting. Let me see if I can refresh this here. I think we're good. I think we're live. Okay, there we go. Some people are watching now. All right, so if you guys can hear us, if those of you who are watching can just let us know in the live chat, that would be awesome. All 17 of you. Okay, great. People can hear. All right, wonderful. So yeah, thank you for joining us on this afternoon. 3 of us are here. Hunter is taking his afternoon nap, so he won't be joining us. And if he were joining us, you better believe he'd be all over my office and pulling on the backdrop and doing all kinds of stuff, hanging out the window.
It's kind of good that he's not.
But our immobile child is here, Carson Day Alec, who today is 9 days old, right?
I think so.
Yeah, 9 days old, and he's just been a great little guy. So we just wanted to kind of share this moment, this time in our lives with all of you. Just FYI, the lights are a little dark in here, so we're a little shadowy, and that's because we didn't want to blind our child with with the super bright lights. But yeah, we just kind of wanted to talk about our birth experience and Carson, kind of how we came up with his name, and just our goals for his birth, and then chat with you guys and answer any questions you have. So let's kick it off with his name, Carson. Carson, yeah. We when did we land on that name?
Probably a couple months ago.
Right?
I say like maybe early in my 3rd trimester is when we kind of decided.
If you've watched our family vlogs for a while, you know that one of the names that we had kind of come up with was Elton. And we were kind of going between Elton and Carson. Those were like the last 2. But we finally landed on Carson. And I think that's good. Because whenever you hear Elton, you're going to think of Elton John, right? Carson, I don't think there's that kind of like direct association with someone as specifically. There are famous Carsons. There's Carson Daly, and it's interesting because Carson's middle name is Day, D-A-E. So you put Carson Day, and if our last name was Lead, we kind of like Carson Daly. Let's see. So Renee says her nephew's name is Carson. Great.
Very cool.
That's cool. Yeah, it seems to be a somewhat of a common name, but not super common. We checked, how common the names are that we were thinking of, and we didn't want to put one that's like the most popular name for boys right now, because then it's like, okay, everybody in this class is going to be named Carson. But I think it was like in the 80s or 90s or something like that. So familiar enough, but not, so like out there that, not so familiar that, there's going to be multiple kids in the class. It says Gina Arroyo says, I thought Carson Daly. Yeah, but I think my sister said that. Like, that was the first thing that popped in my mind.
He's like probably the only, famous person that I know.
Yeah, I think off the top of our head, that's the only famous Carson. How much did Carson, Walking the Lime says, how much did Carson weigh and how much did Hunter weigh?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me see if I can get this. She knows them. Let me see if I can get this right.
Okay.
Hunter, our first son, who is 24 months old right now, he just turned 2 in May. He was 7 pounds 9 ounces?
7 pounds 8 ounces.
7 pounds 8 ounces. 21 inches?
20 and a half inches.
20 and a half inches. So say it for the the record.
Hunter James Alec was born at 7 pounds 8 ounces and 20 and a half inches.
Okay. Carson was smaller. Carson, let me see if I got this. I believe he was 19 inches. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And he was 7 pounds 2 ounces.
7 pounds 3 ounces.
I was going to say 3. 7 pounds 3 ounces. So Carson was noticeably smaller. Like this whole time we've been like holding him, and obviously in comparison to our 2-year-old. But one thing to note is that Hunter was born at 41 weeks and 1 day. Carson was born at 39 weeks.
39 weeks and 1 day.
39 weeks and 1 day. So they're actually gestationally, in terms of gestational age, they're about 2 weeks apart. So that could kind of explain some of the additional weight and height that Hunter had, and why Carson came out comparatively smaller. Yeah, those are the birth stats. The head, Hunter's head was bigger. Those are the 3 things they measure. They measure height, weight, and the head circumference. But I feel like Hunter's head was larger as well. So yeah, still a healthy weight and a good length. So yeah, we're super excited. Carson's middle name is... Oh, yeah. Grace says, I love your mom's reaction when we told your mom the baby's name will be Elton.
Oh,
yeah. Some people on my side of the family weren't too thrilled with the name Elton. Just for whatever reason. Although they love Elton John. We took my parents to an Elton John concert on his Goodbye Yellow Brick Road tour.
That was a great concert.
It was a great concert. I've never seen him in live. They'd never seen him live. They're big fans. I love Elton too. When was that? That's when Hunter was like a few months old, right?
He was only 4 months old, so we went September of 2019.
Yeah, so they love Elton, but they didn't want the name Elton for their grandson. So, and we were already leaning toward Carson anyway. So it wasn't like they decided for us. We were already leaning toward Carson anyway. But we tricked them by telling them that the baby's name would be Elton. We did that. When was that? Easter vlog with my family.
It was, yeah. I think on April 2nd. It was like the day after April Fool's Day. Yeah,
the day after April. So it's kind of a late April Fool's joke. What is Carson's middle name? His name is Day, D-A-E. And we actually finalized that after he was born.
Yeah, it's a little late.
It's like, we gotta do the middle name. Well, first of all, he was a bit early, right? So we expected we had a little bit more time.
We had it on our to-do list.
We had it on our to-do list. We have like a to-do list between us and figure out the middle name. At first, we were actually leaning towards Paul. Believe it or not.
Yeah, Paul was a strong
one. We were looking for one-syllable names because we kind of like that rhythm of, 2-syllable, 1-syllable, then our 2-syllable last name. So up until she brought up Day, which we had never really discussed previously. You brought up Day maybe a week before Carson was born?
I think so, yeah.
I thought, okay, I mean, if we don't figure out anything else, it's going to be Carson, Paul, Alec. But she brought up Day. I had to kind of sit on it, let it mull for a few... until after the birth, basically, a couple weeks, I don't know exactly when he said it. But then, when I saw him and then just afterwards, I was like, Day fits. It sounds very strong. It's got a very masculine kind of ring to it. And it means greatness in Korean.
Yeah. So if you look it up on Google, it'll say greatness.
This is according to...
It's a Korean-based name.
Alan Dean points out, Logan, if his middle name was Paul, his initials would be CPA. I didn't think about that.
Actually, it came across in my head.
Oh, yeah?
But he's CDA. So.
CDA. I don't know what that stands for. All right, let's look at the others. Walking the line. Yeah, they're 2 weeks apart in birthdays. Or wait, 10 days apart in birthdays. Yeah. Brenda says, I think Carson's a very nice name. And Logan and Caroline, are you guys feeling overwhelmed at all? I'll let you talk to this.
Oh, sure. You know what? We are actually doing really well, given the circumstances. I was honestly expecting the worst. I think we were just saying, oh man, once the second one's born, we just got to prepare, for...
Hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Carson is a super easy baby. He's really easygoing, really chill. He was a great eater from the start.
Mm-hmm.
We had no issues with him latching and feeding, and he honestly sleeps really well too. I mean, as you can tell, he only ate half of his meal right now, but he's already knocked out. So we've been doing. And
he's been sleeping 5-hour stretches, 6-hour stretches at night.
Yeah.
Which was not our experience with Hunter. In the beginning anyway, when he was first born.
And in terms of Hunter adjusting, I was again expecting the worst, thinking that it'd be a really difficult adjustment for him, but he surprised us for sure. He's been such a sweet big brother to Carson, and loves to give him hugs and just be tender towards him, try to share his snacks with him. So yeah, I think overall we've been doing really well, and don't think that it's too overwhelming, at least not yet.
We don't feel sleep deprived.
No, not at all.
Not at all. With our first go around, we felt pretty sleep deprived, pretty much zombie-like state for the first while. First week or so. But we're over his first week now, and we feel great. We feel great. The thing with Carson is, I didn't realize this with Hunter, but newborns, they're very unaware of noises and even lights even. So right before we were doing this live stream, Carson was in his bassinet. Hunter just ran up to him and wanted to touch the baby and was kind of being loud, and Carson just slept right through it. So yeah, it's actually been growing great. How's Hunter with his Levon? How's Hunter with a little bit? Hunter's
Okay, so we
great.
answered that,
He's
yeah.
he's been great. Like Caroline said, he just like will randomly throughout the day want to go like hug the baby or touch the baby. Gina asked how's his sleeping. Sleeping is great. Nap times are great. Like he can pretty much nap anywhere in our arms in his bassinet. Nighttime he sleeping pretty long for a newborn, stretches at a time. Hunter's doing well. It looks like as a big brother. Is this the case? Yep. Hunter's doing great as a big brother. We are kind of afraid of maybe like jealousy, because obviously a lot. Well, I think it kind of has to do with the fact that he's a good baby. It's not like
He doesn't need our attention.
he's not like he's captivating all of our attention and all of our time all the time. We still have a lot of time to give to Hunter right now. And I think that kind of has to do with it. But even when Hunter first met Carson at the hospital, if you saw on the video, he was very affectionate and very loving. I think it's because we kind of prepared him for that. He has a few books about becoming a big brother, and I think he was looking forward to it, just as we were. So it's actually been a really fun time for him.
See Alan's comment.
Well, Carson like broccoli? I hope so. I hope so. Right now he's just all about that breast milk, but Hunter, he's actually gotten a little bit pickier with his eating. He recently, wouldn't you say? Yeah.
I mean, also he did get sick a few days ago,
Yeah.
and so that might be affecting his appetite. But yeah, I think overall he definitely has become pickier.
Yeah, slightly pickier.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not. I wouldn't say he's like a super picky, because I've interacted with toddlers who are extremely picky. Hunter's not at that level, but there's compared to what he was previously, when he would basically eat anything except probably tomatoes. Like now he does have a little bit more preference with food, but he's still eating well. Tracy, are you breastfeeding? Yes, Caroline is breastfeeding, and that's going great. Like from the time when he was first, when he's born, and then they put him on the mom's tummy, and they have that skin to skin time. Like even from that point, he was able to latch and feed quite easily. I think it's a mixture, maybe just Carson, and also obviously this is our second go around.
I'm just feeling more comfortable, like knowing what to do this time around instead of being this neurotic, helpless, like what the heck am I doing, first time mom.
Yeah, because initially with Hunter, getting the hang of that breastfeeding, it was something of a struggle.
It was a big learning curve for sure the first time around.
And then what if they don't eat well, then they're not going to sleep well, right? So it's just kind of this vicious cycle. And then sometimes if they don't sleep well at first, they're too tired to feed, right? And then they'll just because with Hunter we had to try to keep him awake, put washcloths on his forehead, try to keep him awake to feed. So it's kind of this vicious cycle. But if they do feed well, then I think they eat well. I mean, this is just generalities. I know everyone's case by case, but so Barb says I think Carson looks like Hunter. Carson is he is knocking out. Yeah, he's a tired boy. Yeah, we said that too. Like I think a lot of his facial features and his eyes do look a lot like Hunter, just kind of a darker, kind of like with darker features, kind of darker skin tone, and obviously darker hair. In terms of his hair, we noticed at first we thought it was black when Carson came out, but actually we've been kind of looking at it, and yeah, he's got some black, but there's actually a lot of dark brown as well. So we know this is just kind of the baby hair, but he'll probably have the dark brown hair going forward.
And we're wondering if maybe he might have a little bit of curls like his dad, and Hunter's got some curls in the front of his head too. So
yeah, we think it'd be cute if he got little curls like Hunter did. Walking the Lime says my oldest was so picky she only ate avocado and milk until almost age 2. Wow, I love how Hunter seems to try everything.
Yeah, he's always willing to try something at least. Like even tomatoes, like we know he hates them, but he'll always try to put one in his mouth. I think just because the color red is really intriguing to him. So.
Yeah.
But
Levon says, Caroline, you look wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Caroline's been doing this low sodium thing. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. I mean, well, one, I just want to say I feel great. So I think that's maybe a contribution to why I might look better than I did the first time around. But two, I'm on this low sodium diet per my doctor's order. I did have to go to urgent care, 3 days ago? I did have preeclampsia, towards the end of my pregnancy, and so we had to keep an eye on that in terms of my blood pressure and everything, and they said if I experience any swelling or numbness, tingly feeling, headaches, to go to urgent care right away, because that could be a sign of my preeclampsia acting up. So I did experience some swelling in my legs and my feet a few days ago, which is why I went to urgent care. But everything turned out to be normal. The doctor just wants me to be careful in monitoring everything. So hence the low sodium diet that's supposed to help with the swelling. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And this probably healthier in general, right? To limit your salt consumption. I could probably go for limiting my salt consumption. But yeah, so Caroline did have this kind of slightly elevated high blood pressure during the end of pregnancy. It wasn't anything too serious, just something to monitor. So the low sodium thing is just kind of a precaution more than anything, because she doesn't have any of the other like severe signs of preeclampsia. So yeah. But with the birth, yeah, Caroline really wanted it to be very natural, I guess you'd say. You're gonna feed him some more?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, so she actually did it without, she did it naturally, she did it without an epidural, which is something that she wanted. And she also didn't want to be induced, because with Hunter, Caroline had to be induced, because she was at 41 weeks, and, we didn't really want to push back. We didn't know we could really push back, but, our medical groups said, well, it's kind of policy at 41 weeks to actually start talking about induction. So Caroline was induced with Hunter, she wanted a more kind of natural birthing experience this time, and we hired a doula, which, if you don't know, is kind of like a birth coach. And she was great. Like, I didn't know what to think. She was expensive, but she was great. And I think without her, the birth experience would not have gone as well. She was really an advocate to it, because sometimes at the hospital, the nurses and the midwife and the OB, they just want to, like, okay, let's push this through. Let's have this baby. We're gonna have this baby. But the doula was really there to kind of advocate and kind of, she knows the terminology as well, because sometimes the medical staff, they'll say something and we've researched stuff. We don't really know what they're talking about really, but because our doula Jessamine has done this so many times, she was able to really be there and kind of go between us. So I was very active, throughout the labor. Jessamine was very active throughout the labor. We would put pressure on Caroline's hips and kind of talk to her and coach her. That's why there's not much footage of Caroline actually in labor, because I was there, with her,
really helping.
massaging and doing all that stuff. Jessamine, our doula, encouraged Caroline to change positions a lot during labor and not just staying in one position. I think that really helped as well. So at the end there, when Caroline felt that urge to push, she was actually kind of leaning on the edge of the hospital bed. And you said it just felt like it was ready to, Carson was just like ready to come out. Ready. Which is obviously very different, I think, experience than, with Hunter, with the induction and the epidural. So let's look at the chat here. Terry says he's got a lot of hair. Yes, he does. He does have a lot of hair, and it's dark, so it's very apparent. Hunter had hair when he was born, not as much, and it was lighter too, so it wasn't as apparent. Kathy says, love the name Carson. Thank you. Carson looks like Hunter. Yeah. Thanks, Alan. Sherry says, I'm sure the extended family are over the moon. Yes, they are. Caroline's mom has been staying with us, and actually my family, they're visiting today. They're meeting Carson for the first time today, and I think I just heard them walk through the door, and they're obviously super excited. Grace says, I think the baby looks more Caroline than Logan. I think I'd agree on this. I mean, because if you look at Hunter, a lot of his features are Caroline. I think maybe his skin tone and maybe his hair is more me. But obviously Carson, you look at him and it's, I don't want to be like racist. You think it's an Asian baby, right? Yeah, sometimes with Hunter, you would think, oh, that's like a white baby, right? So I think kind of just at a very like high level, yeah, I'd agree that Carson looks a lot like Caroline. Lavon asked, what was the beverage you were drinking on the day you were in beginning of labor we saw on the vlog?
Yeah. So, what was it? It was raspberry leaf tea, which I don't know works, but it's supposed to help induce labor. So, I just decided to try it in the hopes that it would help me to move things along.
Yeah, so Caroline really didn't want to be induced this time around, and so she was kind of taking steps to, help the labor along. For one thing, she bought some dates, because supposedly dates help, get labor going. Yeah. So maybe the stuff apparently worked, or I don't know, maybe it's just a second baby. Second baby sometimes comes faster, or maybe a combination of the second baby and this stuff. But yeah, it was raspberry leaf tea. Walking the line, how long we need to watch your blood pressure? Do we know?
I do have an appointment coming up on Tuesday, so I believe if things still seem normal in terms of my blood pressure, then I won't have to monitor it anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of just she monitored her blood pressure, and then they would check up, and they'll say, okay, you need to keep monitoring, or okay, you're good, and hopefully they'll give her the clean bill of health this time. Kim says Carson looks just like Hunter. Yeah, they're definitely brothers. Debbie, thank you. Barb says it's good Carson was born a little early with Caroline having the blood. Yeah, we agree with that. Walking the Line says she had to have a C-section with her first because she was too big. 10 pounds. Wow, 10 pounds at 39 and a half weeks. Wow, that's a big baby at 39 and a half weeks. Oftentimes you hear about these 10-pound babies, and they're well into 40, even 41. I think I've even heard 42 weeks. But wow, that you make good, big, healthy babies. Sarah, thank you. Levon, thank you. Debbie, thank you. Laura, my son was 2 weeks late and had to induce. Yeah, with Hunter, he was a week late and they wanted to induce. Alan says Hunter has Logan's gift of gab. Oh, yes, he does. He's always chatting away these days. Yeah. Mostly about cards. If you watch our vlog, you definitely know that. Hope Carson likes cards. We think he will. And I don't want to make it sound like this entirely drove our decision about his name, but I don't think we mentioned this earlier. But the fact that Carr is in Carson's name, that was probably 5 to 10% of it, because Hunter loves saying his name. I don't know if you captured that on camera, but Hunter loves the name, and so, yeah. So it's been a really special time, a really great time. It's going a lot smoother than I think we thought it would.
Yeah, we're really thankful.
We were bracing for the worst. Thank you, Ruth. Well, folks, I think like I said, my family's here. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But otherwise, we're gonna go probably greet my folks here because they're making dinner for us tonight. Low sodium. I think they're attempting to do some kind of Indian chicken tandoori.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're not sure if they had all the supplies at the grocery store though, so we might be looking at something else. So, all right. Any last words?
No, thanks for joining us this live stream. And Carson, can you say hi?
Yeah.
His eyes are open right now, so that's
good. Yeah. Yeah. All right, baby. Did he eat both sides?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. 9 pounds, 10 ounces. Wow. Yeah, ours were both in the 7s. So. All right, guys. I think we're going to call it. Thank you so much for joining us in our live stream. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the afternoon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.